Here's the story. Johnny the Mad Dragon, who had my mother and Puff by his side. They were four fans, certainly obnoxious, but full of dragon's pride.
It's the story of the great Jesse Godfrey, with Big T Go-Go and Mr. Rob. Never Jesse's grown, so fierce and passionate, and the red face shine true. Till the one day when Johnny met young Jesse, and they knew
It was much more than a hunt. That this group would form a fiery podcast. That's how we come from Mad Dragons up. Mad Dragons up. Mad Dragons up. That's the way we became the Mad Dragons up. Come on, Dragons fans! Fire up!
All right, good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Mad Dragons Vodcast. We're reviewing the unfortunate heavy loss to the Dolphins. But before we get into that, for this evening, we do have some special guests, two of our NRLW stars joining the show for tonight. So we do welcome to the show Sara Sautia and Madison Mulhall. Welcome to the show, guys. Thanks for coming on.
Hey, guys.
Hi guys.
Hey,
Thank you for us.
All right. So before we get into everything, Sara and Maddie, tell us a bit about what your positions are for those that don't know, and tell us a bit about where you started playing footy.
Go, Matt.
So my name's Madison Mulhall. I originally started playing footy at Camden Rams about 4 years ago now, and then I came through the Dragons system not too long after that. Preseason has kicked off, and we're probably about halfway through, and yes, we're loving the season, and we're both middles, so yeah.
Yeah. Talofa lava, lo'i ingoa o Sara Sautia. I just thought to introduce myself in Samoan in honor of the week that just passed, which was Samoan Language Week.
Cool.
Yeah, so I started playing when I was 12 with Aspley Devils in Brisbane. And yeah, in 2023, that was my first season with the Dragons. So just off the back of what Maddie said, super excited for the season ahead. Yeah.
All right. We'll get into the questions. So first of all, we'll start with you, Maddie. So you've made yourself as one of the tough competitors and tenacious competitors in the game. What first drew you to rugby league, and what keeps your passion for the game alive?
All right. So originally I was a netballer. So I played netball for about 10 years when I was pretty young. And I kept getting called up for contact. So I decided that maybe a contact sport would be more suited to me. Also, my dad used to play footy, and some of my family friends also used to play. And I was playing Oz Tag throughout early high school years. And everyone used to say, you should start playing footy. You run really hard. And yeah, I decided to get into it, and then it kind of just took off from there. So yeah.
Okay. Now we'll continue on. So who would you say are your role models, past and present, that have inspired you, like the way you play? Like, you look at your debut, and you had a great debut. You got a try on debut. You looked like it was no one going to stop you when you scored that try. But yeah, talk us through who you look up to and who you idolized your game on.
I think there's a few female role models like Millie Boyle and Kezi Apps that I really looked up to when I first started playing the game. And as I started watching more footy in the male space as well, I think Spencer Leniu is a massive person and role model for me. The way he plays his game, the aggression he brings, and the mindset he brings to the game, he knows his role and he really executes it on game day. So I think, I take efforts from his game and really look upon his points to improve my game.
Yep. And so back in 2023 when you made your debut, you weren't part of the original top 24, but you were in the development squad, and then you got to make your debut later that year up in Townsville, I think it was. You got a try on debut. How did you find out from Sowie and John, perhaps, how you got your call up to the Dragon squad?
So I was in the development squad for a few months there, and I was still playing Harveys and stuff like that, like in reserve grade. And I was working really, really hard and wanted to make my debut the next year. And it sort of happened, and Sowie gave me the ring and he said, "Hey mate, you've got to stop training at Camp." I was at Camden Rams as well, training there, but I was playing at Harveys for Dragons. And he's like, "Hey mate, you've got to stop training with Dragons. We've got something really exciting coming up." He wasn't really telling me what was going on, and I got really excited. And then, he broke the news to me that Monday at training, and he said, "Hey kid, you're going to make your debut." And it sort of went from that, and it was a really pivotal moment in my career. And Sowie gave me that opportunity to debut, and he's taken me to this point where I am now.
Yep. Yep. Did anyone else want to say anything there? I just hear someone say something there?
I said good.
Oh, yep. So we saw the Jamie Soward. Looks like he's he finished up with the club last year. But how would you say this is for both of you now? How would you say Crossy is going as a coach? Pre-season training. How would you say it is compared to under Jamie Soward's training program?
It's different. They're both different coaches. Sowie, to everyone that knows Redview, he's a club legend, very passionate coach, and I had a great connection with him as well. Crossy, very authentic and very articulate with the way he presents himself. Truly excited for the season ahead, excited.
Yeah, I think just adding onto that as well, you can't compare both of the coaches. They're both very different in their own right, and they both bring very different things to the table. And I think, I'm grateful for both coaches and what they've taught me. Obviously Sowie gave us both the opportunity to come to this club, and now Crossy, we get to work with him, and he's brought so much to the club, and we're really looking forward to the season ahead. It's looking very strong.
Yep. Looking at that, and as we do welcome John, the manager of both the girls here. Thanks for joining us, John.
I actually didn't know I was straight on. Thanks for warning me. How long you guys been on for?
About 5 minutes.
8. Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
So we'll keep that going. So what both of you? So what would you say your goals are for the season ahead, and what can we expect from the team?
Go Mad. You can go Mad.
I think, I have very, very big goals this year. Coming off the back of last year, I've got a lot to build on, and I've been working really hard off the off season with gym, nutrition. I put on some more muscle mass, so I'm hoping to be stronger out there on the field, and I've gotten heaps more fitter since last year. So looking to have a really, really good season this year, and take a lot out of it with Crossy.
To add to that, for me, myself, my last 2 seasons were cut short due to injuries, so I just want to play some footy, to be honest. But
Yep. Now for you, Sarah. A few weeks ago, you and a lot of the girls had training with Alex Volkanovski at his gym. How was that experience?
Yeah, it's been awesome. It's such an honor to rub shoulders with someone like Volk and learn those little fundamentals that we could apply to our game and better our game. So yeah, it's been awesome.
Very cool. Obviously it's very well. He's one of arguably the best fighter in the world, and he's a Dragons fan himself too. So that's be a great experience to learn from him. Did he teach you any wrestling techniques? Will there be any Big T has mentioned it. Will there be any wrestling in the NRLW now that Volk's taught you
Maybe
that?
an elbow to the head.
He's given us some techniques to use just to improve our like the little fundamentals in our game, like quick to speeden up the quick play the balls. So we'll see.
All right.
Who's Adrian Mulhall?
No, that would be my
Princess's
dad.
dad.
Your dad? He's just said good day anyway. He's just said good evening.
Yes,
Can I ask Sarah a question?
Sorry.
Can I just correct you guys? It's Sara, because I know
Yeah,
she's grown
Oh,
up.
sorry.
No, I
Just
just
so
I just-
no, you never said that was all right with me. It is Sara.
Sarah. All right. Sarah. I thought it might have been Sarah, but Desi's been calling her Sarah. So, like, you come from a rugby family, and you've got a brilliant rugby background. What led you to make the switch to rugby league?
growing up, I did little athletics with my siblings, and then when my sister, so I have an older sister, she's 2 years older than me. She was playing rugby league with her friends, and at that time I was playing netball, and
Okay.
I kind of just followed in her footsteps, and also followed my friends as well, and they introduced me to rugby league, and from there I've loved it ever since. So yeah.
Nice. How long ago was that?
When I was 13. So I'm 23 this year. So
Only a
yeah.
few weeks ago. Is that right?
I've got a question for Sarah and for Maddie and John as well too. I love it, Maddie, how you said Millie Boyle, because I think her rugby league, when I watch her play, she's a raging bull. We used to have a raging bull called Gordon Tallis many years ago to play for the Dragons. And Millie's impact when she's on the field, the way she runs it up, she's a bull at a gate. So what a great role model that you mentioned there to look up to. Going down the middle of the field to be an impact player. Bust tackles, get the offload in as well too. So I think that's great. Young ladies like yourself to have a role model to look up to, as in a female player like that who has already been exceptional, obviously in rugby league. So is that inspirational for you to have? I know she might necessarily play obviously with our Dragons, but to have a role model like that to look up to inspire,
Yeah, I think it's really awesome to have those female figures in our game, especially now that the NRLW is much more prominent. I think a lot of younger kids do look up to her as well. And as a middle, she has so many characteristics that, I would like to bring into my game. Her fitness is one of them, and the way she carries the ball is really good. So I think, having her as a role model is really impactful.
Yeah, I do have a question for you, Maddie. What's it like trying to play footy without glasses on? Because I used to play footy back in when I was in year 10 and that, and I found it difficult to see where the ball and that was coming from my mates and that. So how do you adjust to playing footy without having glasses on?
I do adjust to it quite well. My vision isn't too bad without glasses, which is really good. I'm very grateful for that. And I think some people do wear contacts. I don't usually wear contacts. I just take my glasses off and hope for the best. But no, my vision isn't too bad. So yeah.
Yeah, because I was
to that Millie Boyle question. There are very big forwards in the game, and they're all very different. So Millie Boyle created a status for herself. So Millie Boyle Elliott, she probably is closest to what we call the raging bull, which is a hard act to follow. Because she's got a big body, she really does look after. She hits that line. But then you got an Ellie Johnson, that's a different type of player, that just a powerhouse through the middle that causes damage to create more the back line. What you guys probably are going to get excited to see that's been working in the background, and no one more than Adrian, Maddie's dad knows this, but Maddie's going to be another type of player, sort of a mix between an Ellie Johnson and an Elliott, Boyle Elliott type of player.
Wow.
So she's sort of got that agility of Millie, and it's been 2 weeks in the making, 2 years in the making. But I remember when we go into our preseason training, there is not one person that wants to hold their pads. And I remember the last time we set up Sophie Clancy.
We'll set up Scoop.
We set up Sophie Clancy, and I got video footage of it. And I told Maddie, don't go too hard. And Sophie went about 2 meters flying backwards. So Maddie is very, very strong upper body. She's got a really good fitness to her. But what I think is imperative is she's sort of got a mix between both those forwards where she's going to hit like a Nelly Johnson, but her capabilities are like a Millie Boyle Elliott, if that makes sense. And the question about Scoop with the glasses,
excited.
I'm going to give her a tip. There's always 3 balls when you got no glasses on. You always go for the middle ball.
Yep, I know that feeling. When I used to play in high school, I mostly played in the halves or in the hooker role.
Well, before we go any further, we'll get to some of our viewer questions before we get back to some panel questions. Both for you, Sarah and Maddie, who would you say the NRLW team is that you don't like playing? Obviously, you wouldn't include the Warriors and Bulldogs; they're the new 2 teams in the comp. But and you can add what you expect of them to being the 2 new teams in the comp this year.
Good question.
I think teams should be worried about us. To be fair, I think
nice answer.
Yeah, everyone should be worried about us.
Nice.
I don't feel worried about any other team in the comp at the moment. I think what we're building here at the Dragons is really strong, and I'm super excited to showcase those very, very soon.
Technically, can I say something?
Sarah first. Hang on, let Sarah speak.
I haven't heard from Sarah first.
Just on what Maddie said, I'm not too fussed on any other team. We've been working really hard as a group, and it's going to be really exciting, the footy that we're going to produce. So,
Now, Scoop.
Technically, I was going to say Jag there. Technically, it's one new team joining the comp this year. It's the Bulldogs, not Warriors, because Warriors are returning to the comp after a few years hiatus.
It's 2 new teams because it's an all-new Warriors team.
There you go.
Brand new coach. And I tell you what, I read off the Warriors when they announced it, but with the coach they got there, Ronald Griffith, don't ever underestimate that bloke. He won 2 premiership at the Knights, and I can guarantee you he's already setting up pathways for the future players. I can guarantee you this. I've been working with him closely. He's a really good coach, and these girls are going to be primed and ready. So I'd be wary of them too.
The Bulldogs look like I've got a good
John,
side.
John, can I say how wrapped I am in Sara and Maddie? What beautiful, lovely young ladies you are, and how great you are for the Dragons. John, can we do it? Can we do it? Get a video camera down at training. Can we get Scoop there to get Sara and Maddie to run it? Scoop Maddie Johnson, the footy show. What do you reckon?
If Sophie Clancy went 2 meters back, Scoop will go from one try line to the other. I'll get it.
And Sophie Clancy's a dummy half, Rob.
Mate, she's a good defender, and I tell you, I'll never forget it.
You're getting me excited, John.
I'm going to make a statement, guys, and I always back my statements. I wanted these 2 girls to come on for 2 very big reasons. I wanted all the Dragons fans to know, these girls that have been at the club for it's Sarah's 3rd year and Maddie's 3rd in NRLW, but she's a Dragons junior. And I'll never forget when I found Maddie. It was bloody amazing. It was a great feeling. These 2 girls, I'll give you a bit of rundown. Sara Sautia, when I found her in Queensland, it was we seen footage of and everything. We finally got there to see a grand final. And she's probably hoping I don't talk about this, but they played this grand final for, was it the school, Sarah?
No, it was
club. Yeah, it was the grand final. It was at the Cowboys' home ground. It was a really good stadium. Am I right there?
Yeah.
No, it was there. It was at Titans' home ground. Yeah, it was a really good stadium. And Sara is very difficult too because she doesn't like talking too much. She likes leading by action. So we finally got that sorted. Sara, who does the job very well. When I saw her there, it was probably worth the best flight getting there because the way this girl dominated on the edges, she was playing as a center. She was unstoppable. So what people don't know about Sara is she's been in the Sauer system and he cited her. She's had the most unluckiest run. It's not like she's injury prone. She's absolutely not injury prone, but she's just been so unlucky. So by the time she rehabs her injury, we've already passed preseason. So she's virtually starting from scratch when the season starts. So she's already missed preseason. So when she finally gets the form, we're probably about round 6 when she hits her peak. And the first year, she actually got injured after that. And then the last year, she hit a better milestone. So she was running really good lines, really backline speed for an edge back rower. She was smashing that line. She was hitting perfect holes. And then it was an ugly tackle and she got another injury. I can tell you now, Sara's rehab so bloody well. She's been very cautious. She's already up the scratch. So her timing is perfect for a preseason, something she really hasn't had full capacity to deal with. So I know she's going to have a massive season. She's got experience from the Broncos. She's been coached by other people. She's been part of the Origin camp, whether it be under 19 or the Opens. So she's learned from the best, and you can see the way she runs those lines. You can't buy that experience. You have to earn that experience. So I can guarantee you this girl's going to make a big statement this year. And going back to Maddie, I'll tell you what I found her in Tasha Goal. Unfortunately, Dragons, St. George, the local junior club, you have a lot of young girls that want to aspire to play NRLW there. But unfortunately, I don't believe the coaching levels, without any disrespect, were where they should be. And
they aren't.
Why?
I totally agree.
Yeah, I'm trying to be very nice. But Maddie, it was like, I want to know who this girl was because it's like I know the system, I know the coaches, and I know that there's not going to be much development. But I found this girl, and it was at Illawarra Steelers' home ground, and she was playing St. George with Steelers. And I seen Maddie, and I'm like, who is this girl? She actually goes out there, self-trained, self-developed, and she runs a riot. This girl had no idea about rugby league, respectfully. She was just chopping people down, had the fitness of a fullback, was the biggest. She was the captain of the team. Every time she tackled someone, they struggled to get up. I'm telling you that. So we had to have her on board, and thankfully. But what you saw in NRLW was she wasn't used to that pace. So she was, she really didn't get a Harvey Norman season. So she virtually went straight to NRLW while playing her first year at Harvey's on and off. You see the dynamic of her force, but one thing that is different is the contact fitness at that speed, while the girl is still trying to get experienced. So Maddie today, after 2 years, has always been self-driven, never been asked to say, where about are you in your fitness? No, you don't need to ask her that question. She's already, her fitness is already up there. Broncos are up there. She does her own training. She still maintains her body weight to make sure it's a dynamic force. I will tell you, the way they talk about Millie Boyle Elliott and the way they talk about Ellie Johnson, I'll tell you this year, you will start hearing Maddie's name out there, and that's not going to change. I'm going to say it on record because if it doesn't happen, I look like a goose, but I know me football that well. This girl is staying so calm, but watch the damage she puts out on the field, and I'll guarantee you these two girls are going to stand out in the forwards pack.
Wow.
Another question for you, Maddie. With looks like we've lost Lex and Tekka this year. A big opportunity for you to take that spot up front. How much do you want to be in that starting front row come round one?
Definitely. Obviously, that was a big loss for us in the middles, but I think we've really reached out and we've got a really good middle pack, and I've got some shoes to fill, but I'm really excited to take on that role and and be a part of that in the starting pack.
Yep. Question from one of our viewers as well. Hannah Safford's pretty much done everything in the game. What has she brought to the group?
With the addition of Hannah and a few of the other girls as well, they've been really pivotal in our development, especially as a middle as well. Coming off Hannah, and she's obviously playing that lock role, being off her hip, and she puts you into all of the holes, and especially Nita around that hooker role as well. She's really, really quick off the mark. So I think we'll be having a really good season this year with them included into the squad.
Yep. You want to add anything to that, Sara?
Yeah. Just on the back of what Maddie said, Hannah brings a wealth of experience. And as we have a young group as well and a middle pack. So yeah, it's been awesome to learn off her and just play off her. And she brings this calmness as well to the middle. So yeah.
Hannah Southwell at the Roosters was my number one player in the whole game. If you look at her defensively, and even she's a smart footy IQ as an attacking player, that doesn't go away from her. So when people sort of think Hannah Southwell, I think they seem to forget where she made a benchmark at the Roosters. She was quite dynamic. She's got a really good head on her shoulders. She's a country kid. She brings a lot of experience to this club, and these girls need it.
Yep. And just on that, a lot of fans have asked what happened with Tekka and Lex. They had player options to stay with the club this year.
Maddie told me to get rid of him out of the club so she can get a start.
Was Dowie's no longer there? Does it have anything to do with that?
Adrian Mulhall put a death threat out to me and says, to get him out. Yeah, I'll tell you a little story because everyone keeps asking me this question and I don't answer it. I've told a few very close connections. Like I had a good chat with Sowie Snake back then. I told them everything. I kept them in loop from the beginning. So it's not like it was a last minute decision. They were always placed in a loop. And it was understandable. It doesn't look good for our management company because it looks like we're trying to control a club, which we've never done. But I think everyone seems to forget that we are player agents and our only job is to manage our players. Now, it's so hard to do that when you've got a fan base that want the best for their club, and that's understandable, right? So, but I think you got to be very careful when it comes to the new market. So we've obliged by our contractual agreement. We had to have a player option. Clubs don't usually do that, but in order for them to keep Alexis and Tekka at the club, and they were the only two players that had it, it had to be a player option. And there's a lot of reasons for that because they've been playing for quite a while. They're very big bodies. You look at their stats, you'll understand that their stats have gone up every single game. So we're looking about running meters, post-contact meters. So you got to be very careful when they get to that standard. As an agent, my job is to protect these players and get their value, right? And value is not always about money because I've never had a money problem with the Dragons or any club we do. We get their value right. The one thing I can assure you is that we, as a manager, I've got to make sure that it comes down to the spine, comes down to the coach, who are the other players in the team. When you got players playing a certain type of football, is that going to benefit their value for the following year if I keep them in the same system? So do I make a move to put them in a new system so they can get better value? So if they don't react to a current spine, in their case, I've got to, and that's not taking away anything from their spine because they're still getting the combos right. Do I look at a different type of spine? So it's more about the value. So for me, Dragons will get in a rotating roster with the amount of Steelers players coming through, and they're bloody awesome. I'm a massive fan of the Steelers development program over there. I've got to make a decision on what's best for them. So at the end of the day, it wasn't easy for them to decide, but the one thing we did do, we made it very clear to the Dragons really early on the piece. So by the time it came out, that's probably about 2 months down the track, and that's when we copped the backlash. So we did the right thing by the club. And the sad thing is, when speaking to Crossy, with the systems he's got there and what his future plans are, and they're going to focus on bringing up new players through the Dragons and Steelers system. They're going to run some academy programs, new development, something I've been begging for a while. What they got in place, don't be surprised if they're not back at the Dragons for the 27-28 stint. I have left that open because it really, for me in this case, knowing the way that Nathan Cross coaches, and I will not take anything away from Sowie. Sowie's a specialist type of coach. Sowie loves this club. He was a bloody club legend, that bloke. He's a bloody passionate bloke, and he tried everything he can. I will tell you one thing, and one thing I don't accept. I don't accept anyone saying that Sowie can't coach. I can guarantee you he can coach. So it was a different type of team that didn't suit what I was looking at. But I can assure you what we're working with Nathan Cross, and you guys need to get excited. He inherited this roster, but I can tell you something. He's going to give you guys a really good run home for the team that you got, but watch out for when he starts recruiting for next year and year after. When I can see those sort of trends happening where a player is going to get developed and add value, not money, by experience and value, then, for example, someone like Maddie, I can tell you now there's probably about 3 clubs inquired about it last year. I'll tell you that comfortably, and I can guarantee I'm going to get a lot of clubs inquired about this year. I would still try and keep someone like Maddie with a Nathan Cross because he actually has developed and worked very hard on this girl. And even someone like Sara Sautia that tells me I actually love coming to training. We're a really good, tight-knit group. They're getting value for money at this time. So it's business. I do my job. But these guys still got another 10 years in them at minimum, Tekka and Alexis. So I wouldn't mind seeing them at the Dragons, something that gives the fan base a real good thing. And probably the last time I'll do a player option because it didn't go down well for me. But I've got to protect my players, you know what I mean? I've got to do what's right for them. I had 10 players at the Dragons last year, and I've only got 4 with 2 development players. I've just locked in Trinity Tawaniai, Sarai Pali that you guys don't even know, Paige Tawaniai. Alexa's 2 sisters that I know are going to be absolute weapons. Even a Sarai Pali at a young age. They're locked in at 27. I just done that deal to show my loyalty to the club and the work they put into them. So it's not about me against the club or the board or anything like that. I've just proven that by extending these 2. And I've already had it. These girls don't know, but I've already had conversations with the Dragons about these 2 girls because they're off contract next year, just so you know. And we're looking at getting them locked in earlier than anyone reaching out. And if other clubs are hearing this, I know they're going to reach out earlier. But I know I had 2 clubs chasing Sara, and I had 3 clubs chasing Maddie because of Sara's injury. But we're trying to keep them at the Dragons. I haven't even told the girls yet. We'll have that conversation when I do that. But that's how confident I know these girls have still got probably another Sarah's still got about another 8 years left, and she ain't going to go nowhere, minimum 8 years, possibly 10. Maddie, she'll play till she's 50. She's just...
Hey, John,
Hancock, eh?
John, you sold me, mate. Hey, Sara and Maddie, watch out for Shane Flanagan. He needs a couple of top middle. You might recruit him.
Nice question, Jess.
Yep, go ahead.
I'd like to know what Sara does outside footy. What keeps you grounded? Do you have any superstitions before a game? And what keeps you balanced?
Well, I'm a believer of Christ, so my faith has carried me through a lot of challenges, especially my injuries. And while we're at it, I'll share scripture with you guys. So this scripture has helped me through my injury. It's in 2 Corinthians 12, verse 9, which says, "My grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness." So what does that mean? That means so basically it's just understanding that God's grace empowers us to overcome our weaknesses, and that we should embrace the challenges, because in that moment of despair, God is working through us and for us. So It's just a
So
little.
it's like,
So that keeps you grounded. That keeps you. Do you have any like superstitions before a game?
I used to, but
What were they?
It's been a while. It's been a while. I don't know, like where. Oh, I don't know.
Well, I used to put one sock, one boot, one sock, one boot every time I played. Like I used to do things like that, silly things like that. You know, like when I play. That's all I wanted to ask you. Did you have any growing up?
Growing up, I always strap my wrist, and I always write on my wrist. So I would
What do you
write
write?
like cross, and then my
Cross. I always
family
say the
and
cross.
scripture as well.
Always the cross?
Just so, yeah. So when I'm like,
Nice.
I am going through it, and when I'm fatigued, I just look down and remember why I'm doing what I'm doing.
No.
Hey, can I guess
That's
Maddie's
what you put.
game day? Can I guess Maddie's
Yeah, I was going to ask
game
Maddie.
day?
Yeah, I was going to ask Maddie now. What's
Before she
her?
answers, can I guess it? I want to try and guess it. Going off the way she's built, I reckon it's a packet of Winnie Reds and a meat pie.
No.
She's
Who
built
smokes
like a
anymore?
brick, I'm telling
Nowhere
you.
near close.
No.
She's
Hey,
built like a brick.
Yeah.
have you got any extra superstitions before a game?
I'm definitely a big like sock and shoe person. And I also have to tie my laces a certain amount of times, and it has to like feel right before I can go on the field.
Oh, wow.
And I also write in my journal as well. Like at footy, we have a little journal, and I just write a mantra. And then after that, I just go on the field. So they're probably two of the things that I always do before a game now.
Oh, cool. Thank you very much.
Bit of
yeah,
one
I
off
do
the
have
cuff.
one question. It goes to all three of our special guests. Plus, us fans are calling out for it. How does the bloody contract system work?
In what way do you mean?
Like, for an example, in the men's, you've got like they can be released by June 30 or player options, contract mutual options.
I'm going to tell you the Excel Sports NRL contract how it works. We don't break any agreements. If there is a problem with a club, if I get a phone call to say we want to move a player on, which I haven't had, that is a conversation. Then I'd move a player on, but I got a club that's told me to do that. But I don't have that. So we've had situations where girls weren't happy where they're at for a couple of reasons. Rather than turn your back and move, we address the problem. So I go through the club well-being manager, whether it be the club operations manager or even the coach. I address the problem because I think it's something that needs to be addressed so that it doesn't happen to other players. I don't have an issue where we are ever feel compelled that we break a contract. We like to be loyal. What there is, there's you lock in a contract, so the contract's been accepted on both parties. So we sign off it on behalf of Excel Sports for Maddie, for example, and the Dragons CEO signs it off and for the Dragons, right? So that's contracted. That can't change. Now, so we say, for example, in Lex's case, they were contracted for 23 and 24, but they wanted to keep it for 25 and 26 also. We didn't accept that deal, and we had about 6 clubs chasing her at the time. So what we did, and I really wanted to keep her under the Sowie regime. So what we did to keep her there for the 2 years is ask for a player option. So when we get there, it's up to the club to retain her, but it's up to the player to accept or move on. That's what it is. Now, there is a mutual option, which is the club and the player can decide to accept or move on. That's a mutual option. Then there's a club option. So there's player option, which is very rare to have, a mutual option, and then there's a club option, which a lot of clubs have. So they might get a young rookie that's going to bring her in and say, we'll sign you for 25, and we've got a club option for 26, which means if the club doesn't feel that you're good enough to be part of the squad, they can say we're not going to honour that option, but they got to let us know by October, previous to that year, if they're going to keep the player or move it on, so it gives us time to move them on. So for me, I don't accept the club option. They don't accept the player option. There is no point of doing a mutual option. So we're happy to get a locking date. So these girls have honored their contracts. I will tell you now, they're off contract at the end of the season, but it doesn't mean they're going to be leaving, and it doesn't mean they're going to be staying. But in both their cases, I can tell you now, which I never do, I've already started a conversation.
Sweet.
Well,
Cool.
has
I
been.
hope that answers it, Scoop.
Cheers, mate. Looking forward to seeing these two girls play.
Yeah, they're going to be fine. Have you spoken about a Trinity Tawanea? Do you guys know who she is?
We have spoken, yeah.
Well,
I've seen her highlights through the lower grades, yeah.
Trinity Tawanea is a different player altogether. If you thought Alexis was a different weapon, she's more of an authentic lock, Trinity. She is as aggressive as Maddie, and she's a skillful, educated thinker. And like I joke with her family, Trinity knows nothing about life except for football. When it comes to football, she really pays 100% attention. Everything else, it doesn't really matter. So you're going to be blown away about Trinity. Hopefully she gets bled in, not just rushed in, but I really do trust Nathan Cross with what he does. He's actually a genius. So he wanted to make sure she was, for someone that just came into the club, he identified it straight away. And because of what he saw, his pros and cons and what he's going to work with, you know, to his credit, he didn't want to invest a lot of time in a player if she's only there for one more year. So he says, I really want to do A, B, and C, but you've got to give me up to 2027. And we done that deal straight away without even negotiating it. So this is a sort of bloke that's taken over the Dragons girls, and they're adding a lot of value. And to the club's credit, they've employed, this is what I encourage every club to do, to be honest with you, an ex-player in Sammy Bremner. For the ones that don't know her, these girls probably can tell you what she's like behind the scenes. She's a straight shooter. She's bloody amazing to work with. She doesn't sugarcoat when we have conversations, but she's a supporter of what we do. She'll call a spade, and she's so bloody good for these girls because she has been a player, and she now knows what management's about. She now knows what coaching's about, and she now knows what the attitude around and the morale around the club should be like. So I probably want to know from these girls, has she had an impact?
Yeah, it's a good question.
Yeah, she's done everything in the game, and yeah, pretty much the.
Well, what are the girls' thoughts? What's Sarah's thoughts on Sammy Bremner?
Nah, she's been amazing to have around the club. There's been heaps of changes within the group already. But just having her experience there and her perspective of being a player, but also just there to be a helping hand. And yeah, she's very willing to help wherever she can and offer her experience as well. So it's been great.
Yeah, off the back of that, she brings very, very high standards, especially having that experience in New South Wales and playing for her country as well. And she brought so much to the Dragons, and I think we've learned so much off her, and the high standards are really bleeding through the club, and we're building something really special here.
I got an early question. If one of you had to take face Tegan Berry in a 100-meter sprint, who would it be between you two, Sara or Maddie?
How many? You should ask how many meters head start would they need?
Yeah, they need about a 7-meter head start.
You don't need a head start, Maddie.
Maddie,
you can take her.
No, I'll take her. Yep.
No, you won't. She's gonna throw a hook out.
Building something very, very big this year. She's worked really hard off the off season, and she's a lot quicker than she was last year. So get in your seats and get ready for the big show. Yeah.
And Nathan Cross would have. Look, let me tell you about Nathan Cross. I don't know if you guys know too much about him, and I had to do a lot of homework on him when he got announced because I was really concerned. But I just encourage anyone to sit down with the bloke. He'd probably be one of my top 3 coaches in NRLW already, and he hasn't coached the game yet. And nice. I have a lot of respect for this bloke. He's just a bloody genius. And they've added Piggy Riddell in there too, mind you. And you know what he's like. He's got a lot of experience with the boys. He doesn't tolerate shit. And what a combination, you know. But you get to speak to Nathan Cross. His IQ, he understands exactly what's required. Our conversations can go on for an hour, and we're on the same page. He's really switched on. And the difference, I think, with him and Sowie, I don't know if the girls have told you this, but Sowie does give a shit about these girls. They're like his little girls. But with Nathan, it's not that he doesn't give a shit. He wants to invest in every single individual, and he'll tell you straight what you need to fix and what we expect. And that's what I think the girls have been lacking for a long time. He sort of doesn't bring any emotional value to a conversation because he's quite direct, but he's also very supportive. He won't just say, go fix it. He'll tell you how to fix it. He'll monitor that you're fixing it, and then he'll make sure you're ticking the boxes. Then he'll say on to the next. He's a bloody genius, and if going off our conversations, and I know what he's capable of doing, I don't have any hesitation in bringing girls, and I've got some plans to bring some really good girls there. And I've proven that by extending Trinity, Soraya, and Paige out to 27. Have they spoken about the difference between their 2 coaches?
Yeah.
Yes.
That was
pretty much the first thing we asked. Yeah.
They both said the same thing, that they couldn't. You can't compare them. They're different coaches altogether.
Totally different.
Yeah, totally different. Yeah. I was going to say there, John. Well, we had Sowie on a couple of times in the last couple of years. How about you get Crossy on for us?
Yeah, we'll organise that. He's a nice bloke. I'll tell you what's wrong with Crossy. I've got to book a phone call in to get a hold of him. He's got a massive. He's got a mass. No, I get a hold of him. He always returns calls, but he's got a massive role at the club. He's doing a lot of work with the boys too. So, and his family's in Queensland. So with those floods, you can imagine what he went through. But Cross is a sort of bloke. He puts a lot of work in. He doesn't do like a 4-hour day. He'll sort of spend the whole day at the club, do what he needs to do, and he probably spend another 3-4 hours behind the scenes. He's very analytical, so he'll do a whole background search on a player. He'll go through video footage. He'll look at the training videos. He'll analyze everything. He'll break it down. Every single game I've been out to scout, Cross is there with a few other members of the team, as in the coaches. He's sort of trying to get the coaches coached, and he's trying to get better talent. We're at the schoolgirls, and I bumped into him, and he wanted to know where out there, and I sort of, there's too many to name, but he was keen on this halfback, and I'm going to tell you this story. I won't tell you who she is and where she's at. He says, this girl is very special. And I said, I know she is. And no one knows this yet. But Nathan picked up on it straight away. It usually takes another year or 2 for someone to pick it up. He picked up on it straight away. And I think it was, he said to me, John, by any chance you manager? I said, yeah, I do. And he says, I want her. And I said to him, I'm going to give you her, but I want to know why you want her. He goes, I'll tell you why. He goes, tell me what your thoughts on Casey Ray. And I'll tell you now, I actually think she will be the best 7 ever created in the game. Respectfully, I'll say it, because we've got some really good, like I'm a massive fan of Southall at the moment, the way she's playing. You should never be missing that New South Wales team. I'm talking about in the future. So Casey is probably another 2 years off, but she is going to be one of the best in the game. And this girl reminds him of what they're doing with Casey. So I said, if that's the way you're thinking, he goes, I'm going to get Casey to mentor her. And if that's the way you're thinking, this guy's a bloody genius. Then I don't need to overthink what I'm going to do with it, because I've already set a development pathway for the girl, because I've got someone that understands what needs to be fixed. So I would not send her into a Dragon system to become the next Casey Ray or play alongside Casey Ray. And then when she finally gets there, then rip her out of the club. That ain't going to happen. So when she finally gets there, I'd probably lock her in for 3 years in the NRL, but I want to know who's coaching for the 3 years. That's the only thing that's going to break it. If I get a coach I don't know, I need to know the coaches, then I won't agree to that. But if it's going to be under Nathan Cross or someone that is like a Nathan Cross that understands this, I would never hesitate to lock her in. Okay. But I will get him on for you. I'll reach out and mention it. So
Nice.
I'll find the right time. I'll speak to him, and I think this guy can handle any question. He's a tough character, but he's bloody good at what he does. I'll tell you now.
All right. Hasman, do you have any questions for our guests?
Yeah. So I'll put this one to Sara, I think. Actually, Maddie, I'll give it to you as well. Tegan Berry, how fun is she to play with, and what does she have to do to get picked for Origin? She just keeps getting overlooked, and what's she got to do?
Honestly, I don't know why she's not getting picked, but she's awesome. I love having playing alongside Flashy, call her Flashy. Yeah, she's a vibe. She's cool.
Sara's a Queenslander, by the way.
Oh yeah,
That's
I don't care about
Don't take her advice, please.
I like her even more now. I love her even more.
Hey, Queenslander.
I'm the Queenslander on the panel. Doesn't matter. I was born in England.
No, Sara's happy that Flash is not playing. That's all it is.
Oh no!
Cool one.
I'll ask Maddie. Maddie would know.
Oh, Flash is very energetic around the ruck. She's always there for backup. Yeah, her game is very exciting, but I don't think she's too far off Origin. So hopefully she'll get a gig maybe next year. But yeah, no, she's a very, very, very good player.
Awesome.
All right. Indy Bostock looks like she's going to get a view. What's she been like? She looks like a jet. Do you think she'll be unleashed this year? What are your thoughts on Indy?
Indy's been amazing in the preseason. She's worked very, very hard off the off season as well. She's very strong. I actually versed her in wrestle the other night, and she definitely holds herself. So she'll be exciting to see. She'll be one to watch. So she's got a lot of speed to her. So we'll probably see her this year at some point.
Sara, you got anything on Indy?
Yeah, she's worked really hard. She's put a lot of muscle mass on, preparing herself and building her armor for the season ahead. But yeah, she's one to look out for and really exciting to watch her play.
I was going to say, Jess, I've got a bit of a question, but Sara, I want to commend you on your scripture. I'm actually a catechist in the Catholic Church. I don't know if you know that. So I teach scripture at school, the kids in school, in public school. But I love the boys, the Islander boys and the Indigenous boys, and they get together at the end of the game and they say a prayer.
Yeah.
So I don't do the girls do that, because I don't watch much of the girls' games, but I love that when the boys get together and they say a prayer at the end of the game, and it can be the opposition boys, obviously the home team, or whatever. But I think that's something special. So I just want to say that to you. I thought that was beautiful what you did.
Yeah, thank you.
Do you do a prayer, Sara? Because I think that's important.
Yeah, before the game, me and the girls do get together. But my season was cut short last year, so I didn't get a chance to gather. Why are you laughing, John? But yeah, I didn't get to
Because they were praying for you at that time. But I actually think it's powerful. I think it sort of takes away the nerves and it gives you a bit of encouragement to do your job. I think
it's something you can do, Zara. You can bring it into the team and do that.
Yeah.
You know, that'd be great. You can be the leader and lead it.
I'd actually love to do that. Yeah.
There you go.
I'll ask the girls. I'll ask the girls.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
All right. Another viewer question we've got come through. Both for you and Sarah, Maddie. So what would be your advice to any young girls here? I've got a question about a little 6-year-old girl who loves her footy. What would be your advice for them if they want to one day play in the NRLW?
I think there's some awesome systems in place now through junior reps and development there. And honestly, at age 6, I think it's just all about working hard and looking up to, role models and seeing what they do and, just watching footy and being a footy head, really.
Yep.
My advice would be to just keep working hard. Like, if you do have that goal or aspirations to make higher honors, just back yourself, believe, and go for it. Dream big.
Can I give you guys a really good quick tip? What we look for, where we find them at the age of 15 and put them through a program, we want the girls to start at 13, even earlier. Enjoy your footy. Don't worry about being a Flash or a Millie Boyle or a Hannah Southwell. Be yourself, enjoy the footy, but the most important part is enjoy the training, love what you hate. It's called loving what you hate, which is the fitness of training. Eat healthy, train, don't take it too serious. And then by the time you're 15, you start training to get into at least Fiola's system. You guys have got the Dragons, you got the Steelers, but then it becomes about your attitude. The attitude is the most important thing I look for. The rest can be fixed.
Everything.
Exactly.
Yep. And before we wrap up with you guys, what's your advice to Dragons fans that we're looking forward to the season ahead? Where can we see the team? Like, is there a meet and greet coming up? I know the season's only a few weeks away. I know the Bulldogs team's being unveiled at their game tomorrow before the men's game. Do you know when that's happening yet? And what's your advice to Dragons fans to come out and support you this upcoming season?
I think in a few weeks we're being introduced to the crowd before the men's game. I know that was on the cards. I'm not too sure the date. But yeah, key tips, just watch this space. We're going to be really good this season.
Isn't there a double header, Jess? For the girls before the boys?
That's the Canberra game. That's their first game down in Canberra.
Awesome.
It might be the Parramatta game the week before at Wollongong. Would that be the one, Manny?
I'm not too sure the date. I can have a look and I'll get back to you.
Oh, good. Yeah.
They got a trial in a couple of weeks, I think, don't you?
Yeah, in 2 weeks.
Yeah, so they'll. I think the club generally announces the meet and greet, but the girls like Maddie and Sarah, they love coming up after a game and talking to the crowd. They do that. Jess, you've seen them. I mean,
yep.
They know where to go. But Sarah's camera shy, but she's now really good at it. Really good at it.
She's
now.
done a great job tonight.
I haven't seen that. She always comes over.
She's teaching me how to stand properly now. Yeah. No, these girls, they don't get ahead of themselves, but they love interacting with the fans. That's just the way they are. So they generally do go and make sure they do see them, and they take the photos. They do all that stuff. I'm really proud of these girls and all my girls. They're very level-headed.
Just getting back to you on that question too. I think it's on the 28th of June is the crowd introduction before the men's game.
Nice.
Okay, so that's Parramatta game. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks, Mohammed, for that comment.
Great insight, mate. Great insight. Loved it.
And yeah,
You got the
one
fans,
more
John.
thing. Your I know John mentioned you're both off contract this year, but is your priority to stay with the Dragons and trust what
Don't answer that.
Rossi is building?
I'm joking. Yeah. I haven't told them. I might as well break the news to them. But, Dragons are quite
Breaking
keen to
news.
jump on early. They're just going to we're probably going to start doing things by round 3. But it's too early. I don't get the girls involved with this stuff until I've already sort of got things organised because I like to make it a family affair. I don't just talk to the players. I want them to have time to discuss it with their parents too. And they know, I think that's really important. Like there's a family that's sacrificed for these girls. They need their space because people get excited and say yes or no. I give them the right insight, but we'll get some by round 3 out there. But I'm quite keen to keep them at the Dragons because of Sammy and Crossy, what they've done. But don't hold nothing against them because we don't know what's around the corner. We're not chasing the dollars. We just get the right value, but it's we're in good hands at this stage. So, yeah.
No, thanks for all of you 3 for coming on. But any last questions before our guest leaders?
Just one.
Big T?
Just one that I'd like to ask the girls. Who would you like to thank for getting you where you are today? Either of you.
I think my family has been very important and has played like a pivotal role in my football career so far. I think my friends as well. Along the way, you sort of learn who's there and who isn't there. And obviously having that support system around me has been really, really good. Thank you to John. And I guess, the coaches along the way have played, an important role in where I am today. So, yeah.
And Sarah?
First and foremost, I'd like to give all the glory and praise to my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. Without him, I am nothing. With him, I have everything. So, yeah. And my family, they've been a big pillar of strength, support, and love through my whole journey of playing footy and whatever aspirations that I've had in life. I would also like to thank John for...
they do that, John.
No.
I like the emphasis of John.
It's like you're staring. You're like staring at the screen. Like,
I'm reading the comments. Sorry. I'm reading the comments.
Amazing. Helping us with contracts, helping me personally build confidence in who I am.
I love you, Sarah. I love you, Maddie.
Thanks.
Can I say one thing too? Sorry, guys. John.
It's really important that you know that our values are family, faith, and you. It's not about the management. We've got a job to do. We don't need to be thanked. That's what our job is. So with what these girls said, everyone seems to forget it's the family that have sacrificed financially, driving them. And I'm telling you, they've been through the highs and lows when they didn't make teams, they missed out, they got injured. The mental thing that goes behind the scenes, like, this is important to me. It's not about me. It's not about the club. It's the family that have been there through the highs and lows that no one gets to see. And that's why they have to mention these people. And I love that because it shows you what our values are, family, faith, and you. That's exactly what it is. And I love these guys. I'm really proud of them.
Oh, these two girls are so lucky. There's hundreds of other kids that go through the same thing that these have gone through and don't make it.
That's right.
So you're very lucky to play in NRLW. Keep it up. I love watching you.
And they're with Excel Sports too. Remember
that. Can I add one thing? Sorry. Big T, can I add one thing? Big T and I are one of the older panel members on here. So we're 55 upwards. We finally go into 50.
Hey, hang on. Big T, when you say upwards, are we talking like adding GST or adding
age
20?
50 plus years of following the Dragons. I just want to say how beautiful you girls are. Absolute inspiration. Love Jess, love having the girls on. Absolutely great. And I hope you remain as Dragons. You are future role models. And what a great man John is. What an inspiration he is doing what he's doing. So, Dragons-wise, we couldn't do any better with the 3 of you that we've got here now representing our club. So I just want to say I'm humbled. And my father was a member of the football club for 65 years. So a long time. So I've got 3 generations supporting the Dragons. So I'm just so happy that you've come on tonight. You made my day. You made my week.
That's bloody
So thank you
beautiful,
so
mate.
much.
Yeah, here's
that's
that.
the passion of the fans, mate.
Yep. No, we love the club, and we want to see all sides do well.
That's why we do this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we want to see your team succeed this year as well. It's been a couple of not so great results on the field, but looking forward to seeing you girls go this year and seeing how the team goes, and hopefully a better season ahead. Good luck to you all, and thank you as well, John, for coming on. But thank you for your time, Sarah.
Make sure you say hello to them at the game if you guys are there.
Sure.
Yeah, call out to them.
Absolutely.
Sure.
Super humble, amazing kids.
Special girls, these ones.
Rob, we'll see them at the Cogra game when they play the Roosters.
Absolutely.
Done.
We'll be there. This handsome face.
I'll be there, yeah.
I'll be the old weird guy. I'll come and say hello to you if you remember my face.
No, remember, look for me and then you'll find them. I can tell you now. Because I'll chase them on the park if they don't say hello to me.
All right.
Yeah,
all right,
anyway,
guys.
Good luck for the season ahead. And go the Dragons.
Thank you,
Okay.
guys.
See you later.
Bye.
Up the Dragons.
Well, that was great to hear from John, Maddie, and Sara. Sara.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys. You were great. Absolutely. Thanks for coming on our little VOD. And I've got to say, well, good day, Dragons fans. Guess what? I'm your host tonight. Welcome to the Mad Dragon Vodcast. Proudly brought to you by Complete Warehouse Solutions. You'll find Jeff and the team on Commerce Drive, Lake Illawarra. Find them on 0417 223 409 or 02 4257 1930. Well, there we go. Well, we weren't the only club to get our asses handed to us this week. A few clubs have been absolutely flogged. It was a tough game at Suncorp. Absolutely terrible. Red V going down to the Dolphins in a match that left plenty of fans frustrated. After a prominence build-up, we had 2 wins and a bye in the last 3 weeks. We ranked 6 points. We were cruising. Well, we weren't actually cruising, but we were building to something. Dragons just couldn't match the energy of the Dolphins. They were fired up. They were a fired up outfit. Tonight we're going to unpack where it went wrong. The performance, was it too many missed tackles, too many errors, or did the Dolphins simply out hustle us? We'll break it down, fight up the great, because while the scoreboard didn't go our way, finals footies are far from over. Finals footy. Let's get into it. Jesse, say good day and give me one word that describes that game.
Embarrassing. Absolutely
Okay.
embarrassing.
Okay, that's from Jess. Hasman, one word. I'll come back to it later. Pathetic. All right. Rob?
Abomination.
And Jag.
Do you mean me?
Oh, sorry, not Jag. Yeah. Scoop.
Diggity.
Diabolical.
All right. We're going to get into this. Do you want to start the intro, Jess?
Let's get into it.
And we'll get into Hasman's heroes and villains.
Waiting a while for this one, but Heroes and Villains round 14. Now, I've called this one a few good men and a lot of shit ones. Now, you want answers. You want someone to explain why a club with history, pride, and legacy walked out onto that field and left behind only ashes. Now, let me be clear. On Friday night, the St. George Illawarra Dragons were defeated by the Dolphins. Not narrowly, not valiantly, and not by a margin you learn from and grow. They were humiliated. 56 points to 6. That's not a bad day at the office. That is a structural collapse. This is a team that walked out breathing and walked in buried. What happened out there was not accidental. It was coached, it was planned, it was allowed. And we know exactly who was holding the wheel when the ship crashed into the rocks. One made the decisions, the other carried them out. Both failed. This wasn't just poor strategy, although it certainly was that. It was a lack of identity, leadership, and accountability. And when the final siren sounded, one conclusion remained. The Dragons were dead, and Shane and Cole Flanagan killed them. These are the facts of the case, and they are undisputed. I find the Dragons players guilty and sentence them to a stint in New South Wales Cup of 6 weeks, except for Moses Sully, who gets 8 weeks for clowning around with the opposition players after the game. The only joke was the way you all played. Now, I had a chat with my Roosters mate after the game, after several beverages, I might add, just in relation to Cole Flanagan, and he keeps getting picked. And he said this: if there was a Kyle Robinson at the Roosters and it wasn't a popular choice or a correct one, it would go to a coaching board and Uncle Nick and the coaching staff, who would possibly veto the decision and question it. Nepotism, it doesn't always work. It worked for Penrith with the Clearys. Okay, fine. You got to look to the lower grades and find someone who has talent and bring them up, encourage them, and make them first grade worthy. That's what we need to do with someone who can replace Flanagan. Now, for the hero, I have to mention my friend Neil, who unfortunately lost his brother recently, who was an avid Dragon supporter. Neil was kind enough to give me his brother's Dragons jersey, which is an old Penfolds one with the number 1 on the back, and the hoodie that I'm wearing right now. Both of these I wore on Friday night with certainly more pride than the Dragons showed. So I didn't think any of the players were worthy of it, so I've decided to give it to Neil. And the villains were the 17 blokes that took the field and the idiot in the coach's box. Back to you, Big T.
Thanks, mate. Commiserations and condolences to your friend.
Thanks, mate.
I'm sure. Yeah. I'm sure.
Rolling in his grave with that performance.
Yeah, I was a bit calmer, bit less aggression than we normally do heroes and villains, but that was a good one.
I told you it wasn't going to be that fiery.
Yeah, very good. Okay, Jess, I'll go to you first. Late switch. Raymond Fatalamaran and Blake Laurie was switched on, and Luciano Leilua and Jack DeBellin came off the bench. What did you make of that rotation? Was it a tactical move to bring energy later in the game, or did we miss the punch in leadership, bringing the other two on the field?
Well, he's been doing that the last few weeks. Blake Laurie's been starting ahead of Jack DeBellin, and the last couple of weeks it's been Toby Cashman actually started, and then Luciano Leilua started. Actually, no, he didn't. Yeah, it was Toby Cashman with Luciano Leilua starting off the bench. I think Luciano Leilua was more of that impact role. We know he has those defensive deficiencies, and I thought it would have been Raymond Fatalamaran hasn't played NRL since round 2, so it was a bit of a risk being no NRL match fitness there. But he was okay. I do hope he's okay as well. He did have an asthma attack during the. Hope he's all right. I heard he was released from hospital, so hope he's okay with that one. And yeah, no surprise that it's worked for us the last couple of weeks. Having Blake Laurie off the starting the side, and Jack DeBellin.
That's right. Yeah,
it has worked, but didn't
He's
work.
a sneaky little bugger, our coach, isn't he? Sneaky little bugger with all his late changes and his sneakery. He is a little sneaky little bugger. Rob, I'll go to you now. Early penalty goal. The Dragons took an early penalty goal. Was it the right decision? And would you have done it?
Look, for me, I heard Flano say about Massey and about these different older coaches, Jack Gibson. I know Wayne Bennett's a fan of the 2 points, but, mate, it's the start of the bloody game. So I get it, taking the 2 points if you're into the game and you want to be 2 points ahead onto your score. But I just thought momentum-wise that we could have possibly kicked on a bit. And, obviously we saw LKT spilt the ball, supposedly. I thought it looked close to a try.
Come to that one, yeah.
I know, mate. But yeah, just so early on in the game. I mean, I don't see the significance in the 2 points there. You know what I mean? For me, I would have just kept kicking on and hopefully scored a try. You know. So yeah, so just so early on in the game, mate. I don't see the advantage in that at all, to be honest with you. It wasn't absolutely bucking in the rain or whatever, and points going to be hard to get or whatever. So. Yeah, to answer your question, Big T, I was a bit bemused by it, to be honest with you.
Yeah, it's been done by back since Clive Churchill, and they'll keep doing it. So kick the goal, start the game again. That's what they're looking at. We got up there in the first.
Do you want to hear from Flano, Big T?
Oh, yeah, if you want to throw it on.
Yep, I'll get it up.
Oh, come on. You should have had it up already. But that's what everyone says.
Well, holidays yet, Jesse?
Hey, it's a blue tablet.
It is. Get it up. Before you start it, Jess, I'll go to Scoop first. Herbie Farnsworth tried. They hit back almost immediately. What did you see of our defensive setup and such an early response? We've seen it was a sign of things to come. What do you think of that try? Was it defensive errors?
Yeah, just typical normal defensive errors, Big D. But we always lack in that department. But otherwise, I've got really nothing much to say.
Yeah, that's right. There wasn't a lot of line movement, and Sully just held up and held off and let him run to him. So,
It's just
you got that thing up? Yes, ready to go?
He's on
Send this one out.
Ready to go.
Okay, next after this one, Lock and King Tonga try. What did everybody think about the no try? Over the weekend, I saw worse efforts given as tries. So,
100% it was.
Oh, mate, change. This is for everybody. You just changed hands. That's what you did.
I honestly thought
Hammer didn't ground it either.
I thought it was a try. That's me.
Yeah, I thought it was a try.
It's not a red
that would have
made it
10-8.
I thought it was a try.
Day of the week.
4-point turnaround. They scored that next set.
And I thought it ruined
That's
it.
right. Yeah.
I said it on our messenger group. It was like the kids' rugby league team. The heads went down, and you know, I think it really affected us not getting that try. To be honest with you, I'm not making excuses for the game, but I'm just saying
that wasn't why we lost.
Massive change in point. Yeah, of course, Jesse, I agree. But yeah, I mean, things could have been maybe different if that was allowed. But you know, conspiracy, Big T. If that was Nathan Cleary, what a big try!
Whatever everyone's
from the butt.
What are everyone's thoughts on Tui Peloti going off and Cookie moving into the centres?
Don't get me started.
Did we come back too early?
Yes.
I think he did.
100%.
You can't rush a hamstring. You cannot rush a hamstring.
I think Flano and his presser, I think it was all over his face. He was pissed off, and I think that was a mistake. Honestly,
he wanted to play against Newcastle. CT wanted to play against Newcastle.
Yeah.
And I don't know how.
All right, do you want to run Flano's thought on the game?
Let's hear from Flano and Cookie.
Yeah, send it over to you, Jesse.
Pretty poor performance tonight. What went wrong there?
Wish I could tell you, mate. There's a few things went wrong, but a few injuries and a few things went bad at the start of the game. But we'll have to review it. just wasn't up to standard. We make excuses, but we're not here to make excuses. It just wasn't up to standard, and we'll deal with it.
Do you think potentially in the 2 points 3 minutes into the game rather than going for it, was that?
No.
Was that?
Well, I always learned from a long time ago, mate, from better coaches, Jack Gibson and Ron Massey's and them in the world, when 2 points are available, especially early, gifted. You know, if we score, if Lycan scores, we go 10-8. It's a different game. You know, maybe at that point we could have been 50-10. Who knows? But you know, I'd always take the 2 points.
How does this happen, Fano, when you've lost 3 games by a point? You've basically been in every match bar one, and you've been going great, and then all of a sudden you dish this up.
Yeah, it's disappointing. Really disappointing. Now I've just explained that to the group that we'll review it. We've got a short turnaround, so it's not acceptable for the Dragons, and we'll deal with it internally and we'll review it closely. I haven't got an answer for you why. I wish I knew.
Injuries. How's Roman, mate? Like that was the I know Christian obviously with a hamstring, but went to hospital. Is that right, Roman, with some shortness of breath?
I think it was something like an asthma attack, pretty bad. I haven't got any details as yet. But I just spoke to the boys just then quickly. I haven't seen our medical department yet, but I'm not quite sure.
Is CT awareness was the word they used on the sideline with that same hamstring? Is that your understanding?
Hamstrings, awareness. Yeah, well, it's another something else we need to review. You know, we gave him an extra week, and didn't see him do too much prior to it. So it's really frustrating from a coach's perspective, where it's an area that we're not flush with, and to lose your winger in the first half, makes it really hard. Cookie goes out there and does a good job for us, but throws the whole rhythm of the team out. When you're not on, it doesn't help.
Can this just be a blip on the radar? Like, do you think? I mean, obviously, there's been no sign this was coming. Can it be confident it can just be like a blip that you get over?
I'll make sure of it. Don't you worry.
How will you do that?
That's my job.
That was a cookie. I mean, yeah, like the centres. I mean, Shane just said it obviously changed the rhythm of the game. How difficult was it when you couldn't get control of that ruck, and obviously you were losing the battle in the middle as well?
Yeah, it was a tough one. I think what Shane said before, it's just pretty disappointing, the performance we had after been building nicely after the last few weeks, and we just didn't show up today. And the best thing is for us looking forward is we need to review it tomorrow, cop our medicine from the coaches. We've got a short turnaround, and we've just got to go out there next week and put a good performance and get the win, get back up there. It's as simple as that in this game. The comp's too close, so that loss hurts us a little bit, but we're going to show him that we can do it next week.
Is it a situation, Shane, where you show faith in these players to redeem themselves, or do you have to? I mean, you might have to make some changes with injuries, but how do you see that?
Yeah, I'll have a look at it in the morning. I don't want to been around long enough to learn that you've got to be careful, straight after a game, what you say and what you do, especially in that space. So we'll review it, we'll see what's available, see who's available, and we'll make a decision then. But there could be.
Well, there you go. Shane Flanagan wasn't happy with that game, was he? Ideal. It wasn't ideal losing Tui so early, having to put Cookie in the centres. I know he's been there before and he's done it before. It just didn't work this time, did it? We'll go to that Azarko try, Jess. He scored virtually straight after. What could the Dragons have done to shut him down? That left edge attack. How can you stop that?
Oh, well, our man wasn't there in defence. CT was well off the wing, but our defenders were so far in field. This happened the whole night where our defence wasn't just rushing up on them. The Dolphins are a very fast side, and they really stretched us with the fast brand of footy they were playing. We obviously saw that on Anzac Day too, with the Roosters putting a score on us as well. So yeah, it's not good. And Azarko, he really. As soon as he got that down, I knew he was a try definitely straight away. And, he's a freak with those one-handed put downs, and you can't give him any time of day there.
Guffo's legs was moving him as quick as he could, but he couldn't get there in time. No, Ozarko's a brilliant finisher. He's a superstar of our game, of our wingers. We've got so many good wingers out there. All right, Hasman, Nicarima try. Cody Nicarima sliced through the middle like he was a hot knife going through butter. Is this a recurring issue for the Dragons middle? We're a bit soft. Or was it just a lapse in communication?
No, we are absolutely soft as shit through the middle. We pretty much have been all season so far. It's just a matter of which teams have been able to take advantage or not. But no, that's something that they absolutely need to address. I'm not sure if I agree with Nath at all. Laurie was fairly ordinary, but he was far from the only one.
Oh, that's right. None of our forwards ran for over 100 metres.
The three people that I picked for my 3-2-1s were literally the only three that I thought deserved anything at all.
But same here.
Did you get the panel 3-2-1 Big T? It's in the private chat there.
I didn't have a look because we're not telling anybody now because it's gone behind closed doors. So
you can see who was on the panel.
No, that's it. No, that's it. Behind closed doors now. Nobody knows.
We know.
That's right. I don't even know. So I thought it was just too many offloads that led up to the Nicarima try offloads. And as they say, it was too simple. It was too easy for them.
We said that
Rob.
on Tuesday, Tully.
Rob, you got your ears on, son?
Yeah, I have, mate.
You have, mate. You have.
On his press conference, there's two powerful things he just said. If anybody picked up on it, we're not flush on wingers. He said, This is Shane Flanagan, and he's also saying, well, what's available? We'll have to wait and see. That's pretty powerful. So he said we're not flush on wingers. And
we've got many left.
Injured. We've got three. No Feenoi, no Sloan, no Feenoi, Allen, and Tuapolotu all out.
But hear the words. So
we'll get to that. We'll get to that.
He's saying
we'll get to that.
He doesn't rate what's there. You understand what I mean?
The Lemu Elu try. Prove the old saying that white men can't jump. Hey, he went straight over the top. Straight over the top of Guffo like he was glued to the ground. Do we need to ask questions about our contest under the high ball? Because a lot of our high balls go to ground.
What contest under the high ball?
Yeah, that's right. That's what I'm saying.
No contest from us.
I know it's hard. When a player's running through, he's going to go over the top of you every time. But
what the fuck was Clint Garrison doing? He literally just stood there.
Also got found out too by Bostock.
Yeah, it's definitely a significant problem we've got. It's a concern, mate. We don't have, and I mean, I've seen it. I saw it in the Sharks game with the Warriors against Sharks. I mean, the Warriors scored a couple of tries like that. You know what I mean? It is a big concern, mate, that teams are scoring tries against us like this with a high ball. We can't diffuse it. We can't. I don't know, even knock it on, God knows what, knock it back, whatever.
Yeah.
Stop them from catching the ball and scoring a try. So it's a grey area, Big T. It is a big concern. And if you let me just go another 10 seconds, you look at Corio, Vostok, big, tall wingers, right? We don't have that. We don't have guys like this that can leap aerial like that in defence, diffusing balls, catching balls. So it is. We're going to be targeted. Obviously, going to be targeted. It's a big concern, and moving forward with CT now gone as well too. God knows what Sloan's coming back. So yeah, we're going to be targeted without a doubt. And even next week, if Ronald McDonald, Mulatalo is back, he's good in the air. Watch this space.
We had fucking Boston, we let him go.
Yeah,
we had
Saab as well.
We tend to do that, don't we? At the Dragons, hasn't it?
And we had Voldemort as well, who was good under the high ball.
Yeah, but we don't talk about him. All right, Scoop. Just before halftime, the Hammer returned from injury with a bang. He scored a try. did that mentally break the Dragons, the try before halftime?
No, what mostly broke our boys is when CT's gone off injured and when Cookie got moved into the centres, I was like, yep, that's it. That's the game over for us. Boys put their heads down and just mentally trained the crap out of our guys, and we just let the Dolphins run right all over us over the park, left, right, centre. It was all over by the time CT went off.
But that seems to be a bit of a trend with the Dragons teams, letting tries in just before half time. If we go back this year, there's 5 games where we've let a try in just before half time. I'm going to do a study. I'm going to get a grant, and I'm going to find out why the Dragons let tries in the final 5 minutes of halves. At halftime, Raymond Fatala-Mariner went to hospital. He was having asthma-like symptoms. But he was released that night, and he was back with the team, back at the club hotel that night. So, speedy recovery, Raymond Fatala-Mariner. All right, Jess, Bostock tried just after halftime. Bloody hell. The Dolphins started the second half like they ended the first with a try to Bostock. Do you think the halftime adjustments were lacking from Flano, or were the Dolphins just playing with too much speed and too much cohesion?
It was just the Dolphins just started when they finished off the first half. I mean, again, we mentioned Guffo not competing for the high ball. I think Nathan Lawson's really got a he's really woken up and see what the NRL's all about. Like it's only his second.
I think
game.
he was on the wrong side, but
he was found out. He had a solid game on his debut, but yeah, I don't think there is much leaping he would do in sevens. But Jack Bostock, very tall winger. I think he's a future Origin player, to be honest, as well. But he just jumped over the top of Lawson. Lawson's only a short guy, and it's just he's just our players just need to learn to jump and compete for the ball. It's in Rugby League 101.
Exactly. Lemuel's second try has, man. He bagged a second with a strong run, contact. Is our edge defence too soft under pressure? If our middles is too soft, our edge defence has got to be soft as well, don't they?
Well, our entire bloody defensive area in general is, soft as shit.
Yeah, absolutely. Very, very soft. Something has to be done with the coaching staff, because I think it's Dean Young's the coach, just defence coach.
He's Wells' assistant too.
Jesus, I don't know.
The eighth Immortal made a good comment. Joey Johns said that our halves go sideways. There's no forward momentum from our halves. Releasing to the forwards, obviously the forwards are going to go forward, I get it, but they go too sideways. There's too much sideways going across the field. You know what I mean? And you look at, I know the Dolphins were absolutely on song and all that, but look at the way Katoa plays. He goes right to the line. A young guy, 21 years old, goes right to the line.
Marvelous game.
So I think that's a grey area for us. I think Joey Johns is correct. Mate, one of the best halfbacks of all time. Our halves need to go forward, not sideways.
But another great man did say it's not just that one problem. We've got 99 other problems to deal with. That was Muzza.
Compare us to the Canberra Raiders right now.
No, that's right. Oh, they are. 100%.
And they're doing a great job.
Yeah, so defense is very soft.
Still be with the Dragons, to be honest.
Something needs to be done. Rob, Hammer second time. The Dolphins turned defense into attack. Hammer finished a sweeping play. And we got caught too flat in transition. Where was our scramble? Did we have any scramble?
No, mate. Our line speed was fucking terrible. Excuse the French. Just terrible. It's scramble, line speed. It has been said the defence, mate, was absolutely useless. Everything about it, mate, was just, it was not on song. So again, like we said with the Dolphins, and all credit to them, they were faster, they were better, they were quicker, and we just we had nothing. We had nothing in response, mate. Sadly, we had nothing in response. We just got absolutely trounced, smashed. I mean, 50 points. So there's no excuses. I don't know what you do. I really don't know what you do. And I was hoping the Sharks would have won because I'm one of these guys that I was hoping the Sharks would win and then they have a loss against us. But now they're going to be the bloody coach is going to be up in their face, you know. So I don't know. Floney's going to have come up with a much better game plan, Hasman, because the game plan for the Dolphins was fucking hopeless.
I agree with you, Rob.
Had for the last fucking 5 years.
Yeah,
Hasn't changed a lot.
No,
I was thinking, oh my God, just fucking tackle, make a tackle. Don't let him run with the ball. They were waiting for him
so easily. They ran.
Line speed was terrible.
It was like we were waiting back. They were getting the ball, and we were back team meters, and then we're tackling them there. It was just, I don't know. Donnie said the line speed was terrible. Our line speed was terrible in defence.
We always wait for them to run. Why not just get up in their face and don't let them run? Simple. By the time we get there, they've made 10, 20 metres. It's too late.
Yeah. Scoop. We finally crossed for a try, actually a legal try. We had a couple of attempts and didn't come off. Do you see this as a positive and something to build on, or was it just a consolation try?
Well, I hate to say this, Big T, but about with 20 to 15 minutes to go left of the game, I fell asleep. It was that much of a stress. Plus, I was so tired after that day because I woke up at 4:30 in the morning for work.
Oh,
so
mate.
I ended up crashing with like 15 to 20 minutes left of the game to go. So I didn't end
I
up
remember those
seeing
days. Mohammed, the Dragons will play the Sharks into form. They've lost 2 games in a row I had 40 points scored against them. And the last one was at Shark Park. Wow. I just thought the Dolphins turned off a little bit. And Jess, Farnsworth seals it. Farnsworth scored a try around the grain. Did the Dragons switch off too early again? In the last 5 minutes of a half? Or were the Dolphins just making a statement?
The Dolphins were just out to put their statement. I mean, it's the first time in their short history they put 50 points on, and I think the Dragons at that point, their heads were on the plane home. They were just looking to get out of Brisbane.
Yeah. There needs to be an investigation about those tries in the last 5 minutes of halves. Do we switch off too early? It's just getting
music day.
It's just getting ridiculous. All right, Hasman, how do we bounce back from such a heavy defeat? Do we need to change mentality, combinations, game plan?
All the
above. What do we need to do?
You're going to say change the coach and the son?
Change the halfback, change the defensive coach, change the
football manager.
Football manager, yep.
Get rid of Down.
Change the board. Just sweeping changes. Change everything.
I love it.
Change everything.
Yeah,
change the whole game.
Blow it up.
Yeah.
Clean out.
Hasman's the X-Man. It's not Hasman anymore. It's X-Man.
Do a Parramatta style clean out or a doggy style clean out.
Hi, Hasman.
Doggy style clean out. Let's go.
I'll be coach. I'll be coach.
Jesus. We'll be stuttering all night. Stuttering to start. Rob, bad night. Bad night at the office.
Go to Canterbury Chinese. But didn't you recruitment manager to go to Canterbury Chinese? What is it? Destiny
Canterbury Lakes Club.
Yeah, and a photographer, and we can recruit players.
Gus will be there. He'll shout your lunch.
Yeah, I'll be the coach.
Recruit players who are still on contract.
I know we're laughing. But you got to laugh sometimes. Rob, was it just a bad night at the office, or has this game exposed something deeper structurally inside the organisation?
Look, I think, mate, I was a true believer. I thought we could really still make the top 8, but after watching this game, I'm now doubting Thomas. I I think there's issues. I've been a massive supporter of Flano. So going back to what you're saying about is there problems? I don't know. I think Flano might be too old school. He might be back in 2013 when he was with the Sharks. 2016 won that premiership. So I'm now worried that maybe.
Well, we said
issues.
We said the same thing about our last 3 or 4 coaches.
I know. Look at their
results. Are they right for the job? Oh my God!
I know he's lost his peptide dealer.
Oh no, you can't say that.
He needs to find a new one.
To be
cut
fair,
that out.
To be fair, Jesse, 2018 was our last finals appearance. 2018.
It was, yes.
Now 2025.
It was,
so
yes.
well, there you go. There's our last coaches. So there's all our last coaches gone by the wayside.
Scoop.
Out of Peter Dow's boats out to sea. So yeah, there's problems. There's problems. I think Big T. I don't know how they're going to fix them.
Heaps of problems.
I'm devoted by it. I don't know what they're going to do. They need like a marquee, 1 or 2, a Payne Haas or something. I know everybody's going to say it's never going to happen, but I don't know. We need something like that to change the management of what's happening with our club. Otherwise, we talk about the same shit every year. This happens to us every year. We're going to make the top 8. No, we didn't make it.
Vicious circle.
Well, I can confirm, guys.
For you, Hasman, I think from Lee.
Hang on, you're talking to Sex Scoop. Who, if anybody, Scoop, this is for you. Who, if anybody, stood out for the Dragons despite the scoreline? I know you fell asleep 15 minutes before the end, but you could have worked out who was doing stuff.
And don't say the ball boys, Scoop.
Or Casey Badger.
Oh,
shut up, Jesse. I'm going to say, one of the players I had in my top 3s, Superman Toby Couchman. He was just tackling left, right, and centre for us. I thought he was the most standout player for us this week.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I thought Toby Couchman did a great job. Jack DeBill, and they missed a few tackles, but so did the whole team. None of the forward pack ran for over 100 metres. What do we say about that? I know it was 60-40 percentage possession, wasn't it, Jess?
Something along those lines.
Something ridiculous like that.
They got
the one player that I would drop, well, technically 3, Clint Govison, Damien Cook, and Kyle Flanagan. Those 3 were atrocious for us.
Oh, they all try hard, though, Scoop.
You can't blame. You can't single. Yeah,
that's right. It was just one of those games, I thought. Did we get out coach, Jess? Or did the Dolphins do their homework on us?
100%.
The Dolphins would have watched closely, I think, where the other teams have beaten us this year. They would have looked. Their game was sort of built like how the Roosters on Anzac Day. They threw the ball around. They run us up the middle. They tired us out. We don't like playing our teams with a fast mobile pack. And I know Donnie mentioned in the chat, we like to rise to the challenge when we play the big monstrous packs. But when we've got a big mobile out back forward pack that has a bit of speed, we struggle with those. And a lot of those it allows players like Katoa and the Hammer to come in and do their thing and weave their magic. And Katoa was the best player on the park the other night. And he really tore us apart with his kicking game, especially that 40-20 kick in the second half. He was unbelievable, Isaiah Katoa.
Big T, just give me one of your waterfront houses in Illawarra. Let's get Katoa to the Dragons. Come on,
mate. I'm lucky to have gutter front housing. Not talking about this any water I see. After a loss like that, Hasman, what's more important, reviewing every mistake in detail or just burning the tape and moving on?
Look, you got to watch the tape and try and sort of learn something from it. But look, I wouldn't sort of, watch it 100 times. Watch it a couple of times, take what you can get from it, and then put it out of your minds, concentrate on next week.
Well, here it is, Big T. Yeah, as Lisa Marie's put in the comments, it was 60-40, but the meters gained, that's where the huge difference is. Dolphins, 2,234. Dragons 1,132. 1,100. Yeah, that's
double. That's just crazy. Yeah, there's Lisa Marie.
This how to burn has been.
Missed tackles 29.
Basically,
What about this from the
10 runs
Dragons?
to the goal line.
Ben Herron has been given a live job with the Dragons, and Peter Dowse has been given live membership on the board.
Oh God!
Yeah, we've got to change that. Got to change that.
Oh,
Well, this one's for everybody. There's going to be 2 force changes. Who are we going to see? Who are we going to see next week? And yeah, what's the team going to look like?
Stone gets a recall, I think.
Yeah. And will
Maybe
Lawson go for
Rumble.
Will he play centre or wing?
I think Lawson will move to centre if that's permitting, if Val does pick for the Queensland team tomorrow.
I got Ben Rumble.
Finau and Sloan on the wings, I think they'll go with.
Do you reckon Ben Rumble scoop?
Yeah, he's been impressive in New South Wales Cup for us. I reckon give him a go because after the Friday's loss, I think that's our season pretty much done. It's time to blood in juniors, I reckon.
I think we say that every year, don't we? Yeah. I think Sloan will be back. We don't get Corey Allen or Feagai back till round 17 and round 20, respectively. We've only got one left. Sione Finau, isn't it?
Yeah.
We'll run out of them all.
Sloan, yeah.
Yeah. All right, Jess, have we got any news and rumours around the place?
Yep. So it looks like the Queensland Origin team will get picked at 9 a.m. tomorrow. Big T. I know you're looking forward to that one, and the Blues will get named after the Bulldogs Eagles game tomorrow night. But Big T, I know you're the Queenslander on the panel. 1 against 4. Looks like Kurt Gatwell is going to get a recall, and DCE going to get the flick for Tom Dearden.
Yeah, looks like it. Tom Dearden and Munster in the halves.
I've got a question.
Yeah, okay, you can have a question in a minute, Scoop. I'm gonna make a T-shirt with "I've got a question" and have Scoop's face.
Waste
under
your turn, Scoop.
Dicky knee.
Yeah. Oh, what was your question, Scoop?
So if DCE doesn't get picked after game 1, who's going to be your captain moving forward?
Well, actually, Tino's in under a cloud. So I'd say Munster or Harry Grant.
Surely it's going to be Grant.
Does Big Red get looking, you think, Big T?
Horsburgh will be in the side. He'll be on the bench. He'll come in on the bench.
Who do we think comes in for Mitch Barnett for the Blues? Stefano was in the squad for game 1.
Let's move on.
Jersey Flag had a big win, Big T.
They did. I didn't see the score, but I did
46
read that they had a big win. Who they play? The blind school?
The Cavite Silktails, the team from Fiji.
The Silktails, that's right. They beat us in the first round.
Over in Fiji, yes.
Over in Fiji, they beat us for their first win. Good on the Silvertails. Silver Ferns? Silver, whatever they are.
I just got a message from Sara as well. I'll just read it out. So she just said, I didn't get to finish my thank yous in the podcast tonight, but a big thank you to yourself and the members that were on the panel. We were so grateful to be live on the show tonight. Have a blessed week and hope to see you around at our game. So very nice message from Sara.
Lovely girl.
Thank you, Sara.
He's officially my favourite player now, and I can say that because...
Oh, no!
It means she's leaving.
Have you heard? Do you know Hasman's history with players leaving Scoop? Have you heard the story?
No, I have not.
Okay, so basically every time, and this goes with the guys as well, anyone that I say is my favourite player, without fail so far, has ended up leaving. Like I think within
the next year.
Within a year.
Jackson Ford, a prime example.
Jackson Ford is the.
Well, yeah, I think he is the first
He was the first one,
Yeah.
wasn't
Yes, and then Rachel Pearson the same year.
he? Yep, and then
Good.
the left.
Can I ask a question without notice? Who the hell is Steve Madison? Because is he like a boyfriend or something? It just says on here the show is made up with Scoop. Look, Scoop has been good all night. Haven't heard a word.
I don't know who that is.
Hey, hang on. I can tell you now. Scoop's probably had a few ales. He's probably 12 deep by now. He doesn't have to work tomorrow. 12 deep by now.
Scoop, are you Steve Madison as well, Scoop?
No.
He's mad,
No, I can tell you that Steve Midson is a person. One of my mates from down here in Kalala Bay. He works at the club and gives me lots of drinks.
Nice guy. So he's a big fan of Scoops.
Yeah, he tells me he is. And my other mate Marty's a big fan of Coco. He's been on tonight. Anyhow, well, that wasn't the result we were hoping for.
Well, Big T, you get
Rob
other
had
big
some
fans
news
as well,
actually
too.
yesterday. He heard on the radio about a halfback.
Sorry, what was that?
Rob heard some news yesterday on SEN about a potential.
Oh, look,
halfback.
there was a thing going on around SEN sport on a few of the segments there, saying that apparently Toby Sexton, is it Finau Latu was playing obviously in our reserve grade or in our
Dogs, yep.
cup team. He's going to the Dogs. The Dogs are trying to get him out early. Not a direct swap deal, obviously with Sexton, because obviously Sexton would be worth more money, but there was a bit of rumor around that the Dragons are looking at Sexton to come in, obviously to the Dragons. So
I wouldn't mind that actually. He's better than
he's only 24, I believe, and I mean it's a harsh thing for him with the Dogs, but they're running first, right? He's been the halfback.
Yeah, they're on top.
Yeah, he's obviously
they're
been
looking
doing
at-
well. And Gus obviously is a big fan of Galvin, and Gus has been obviously Gus bullshits, but Gus has been the main man behind Galvin coming into the Dogs.
Never spoke to him. Never spoke to Galvin.
Of course,
Galvin
he
said that too.
But they didn't take any pictures at Canterbury Chinese, of course, when they had that Chinese meal with the fortune cookies. But
True that he will debut tomorrow. Cameron Sorella has given him the
It's
green
been
light to debut.
confirmed.
He's
Off the
going to
bench.
debut off the bench.
That'd be interesting.
Well, I believe, right, that
hard.
he slipped up in was an interview, and he sort of said that I'll be playing in the halves. So you'll be playing in the halves.
Yeah.
So
But there could be a bit of ilk there too, because for the Canterbury players, our best mates with Jerome Luai, and Luai and Galvin have got the problem. People like Toby Sexton. People like Toby Sexton, and he's got them to coming first. And if Galvin comes in to take Sexton's spot, there's going to be a more mighty uproar.
no, mate,
He's not a seven.
You think so, but then they're saying the players are the apparently senior players are behind the Galvin move. So what do you believe and who you believe? But I don't know, Hasman, you're here. What do you think of Toby Sexton? Or do you think we need a bigger name after?
Before we talk about Sexton, Ian Johnson reckons he's signed with the Titans already.
No, he hasn't signed with Titans.
No, I got a gut feeling he's coming to us.
Some more news for you, Big T.
Yeah.
Mal Meninga appointed new coach of the Bears.
Yeah, they needed a big name.
It's a big job to assemble an inaugural team. As Wayne Bennett said, it's
especially
not like your everyday club,
especially in a non-rugby league area.
Mm.
I know Melbourne have been successful down in Melbourne, but Melbourne is just sports mad. They'll watch anything. They'll watch two flies go up a wall.
They're going.
And it's all
Bennett
for
did a good job setting them.
It's a rugby league state, so they were always going to go well. I expect Papua New Guinea to start well as well in 2029 or 2030 when they come in.
28.
2028. Yeah, well, they're going to have a competitive side because any players that go to Papua New Guinea team are tax free.
What about this for a real Big T? One of the board members to the Perth Bears. Obviously, there's 6 or 7 or 8 board members or whatever on the board, like the Dragons. Donald Bell. Donald Bell. There you go.
I don't think so. I think Donnie Bell's got one red eye and one white eye. He bleeds red and white, Donnie.
I wouldn't be surprised if he jumped ship.
Oh, you can't say that, Scoop.
No.
Donnie's still our captain. He's on a bit of a leave at the moment, so hopefully he'll come back.
I watched the rugby league with Donnie. Guys at Cogra, I've never seen a more passionate, stressed out cat watching a game. My God,
Yes.
every play, yeah, you're right, Big T. He bleeds red and white.
He bleeds red and white, not just red.
The stress coming out of that man watching the Dragons was unbelievable.
All right, has anyone else got anything to say about that game, or did we just dig
I
a
got
hole and
another
bury it?
rumor apparently. I just
Rumour?
saw on Facebook tonight. Apparently, one person said that they got sources saying that DC is not signing with the Roosters, but with us for a year. That's a
What?
rumor.
Oh, I don't think so, Scoop. If
Yeah,
that
we've got the
happens,
wrong Scoop.
yeah.
Yeah,
If that happens, I'll bet. If that happens, Hasman has to run down Cogra naked.
I don't think we want to see that.
I said it's a rumor. It's not. I didn't
I will
say
take it
it's
as a rumor,
I said
Scoop.
it's a rumor.
We'll take it as a rumor.
I heard that too. I heard it's 2 years for 1.1, but I'm about 99% sure it's bullshit.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Everybody uses the Dragons to bounce off to get more money, don't they? Everybody.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Everybody says, I'm going to the Dragons for this much. Oh, no, I'm not. I'm going there for that much. So bounces off us for money.
What about
All right, I
Wayne
think we
Bennett?
might wrap it up there. Jess, you got anything else?
Wayne Bennett wants to coach the Kangaroos again, but are you against club coaches coaching rep sites?
Yes.
NRL is against it.
Wayne Bennett can do anything. He's Superman.
Would everyone be all ears to let Wayne Bennett coach the Kangaroos, or if he doesn't get it,
bother me.
who would be? Would Brad Fittler?
I want
That'll be
Cam
the worst
Smith.
move in rugby league history.
What, letting Brad
But he's
Fittler coach the
Queenslander.
Kangaroos?
Yeah, worst move in rugby.
Cameron Smith was apparently as well too.
You want Cameron
Smith,
being
I heard.
coach.
Cameron
Jesse,
Smith, I heard.
I've got a question for you.
Cameron Smith's got a good rapport with the referees, so he might be all right to be the coach.
The Sharks next week, they had a few players out. Is Ronald McDonald back? Does anybody
No, we'll talk about that Tuesday.
No, I know we're going to talk about Tuesday. I just want to know if he's going to be back or not. Because you were talking about the air before. You remember Big T question?
Oh, yeah.
He's good in the air, so
He's an absolute grub. I don't like him.
I hate him too.
I hate
Yeah.
him.
Oh, what's this here? I think
He's not
Tate
Ray
would be
Barney.
a great addition to our side. Oh.
Well, Jess, we had the girls on earlier on with John, Sara, and
Thanks to
Maddie. Thank you very much. That was absolutely fantastic. If any of the other girls want to come on
We've
throughout
got
the
something
year,
in the pipeline in the next few weeks. So
they're more than welcome. They're more than welcome. We love them
I
all.
want Casey Ray.
You love Casey Ray, Scoop. It wasn't the result we were hoping for, and let's be honest, we did cop an absolute flogging. But one bad night doesn't defend the season. Well, that's our second really, really bad night. And we've still got passion. The team's still got passion. The boys will be burning to bounce back against the Sharks, and so are we. So dust off your jersey, shake off your frustrations. Remember, the season's not over yet. Oh, and don't forget, Thursday night, buy your Powerball ticket. Everybody's got to buy a Powerball ticket because I know if I win Powerball, we're all going to Vegas.
Hell
Anyway.
yeah!
Thanks, Big
get
T.
the Mark Hughes beanies as well, Big T. Very
Yep,
good
get
cause.
Marky's beanie, $29, aren't they?
Yep.
You can get them from IGA. If you've got a local IGA, pop down there and grab them.
Woolies.
Woolies.
Oh, Woolies. There you go.
Or
I didn't know that. So if I win Lotto, we're all going to Vegas. Even you people in the comments, they'll take you guys as well. I'll get some sort of package going.
I've already booked my tickets, Big
And we'll have
T.
Donnie back on the show by then.
Oh, yeah, we
We'll talk to
will.
you.
We will. Red V's a part of me. Dragons for life. Good night to us. good night from all of us here at the Mad
Tuesday.
Dragon Vodcast. See you on Tuesday. I hope you enjoyed the show. And as we always say, come on, Dragons fans! Fire up! Fire up! Yes, finish it off, son. Take us out.
Coco is at Pell's heart, she wears it on her sleeve. As Mustard tells tales of dragons, wins and tuna victory. Tony and the MP crew will do their very best, hitting off topic and I digress with a red V on our chest. The Mad Dragons Vodcast is a sheep of camaraderie, navigating rants down rabbit holes in the land of big wet feet. And so our peddlers weave the tales and our pursuit is our dream. The Mad Dragon Vodcast.